The recording has started. Hello, Larry. This is Anya trying to make a video about how I think about strategy in Through the Ages. As you can see here in the index, we're going to learn how to play the long game. The reason we are doing this is because even though I believe you are very good of playing a particular turnout, you're not necessarily good in playing the long game. Right now, that is what we're going to focus on to strengthen. Do you have any comments that you want me to put on the recording on my end? Okay, so first choice. In this game, in general, there is a lot to consider. The first thing to consider is, what do you see and what do you believe you can get? In this case, we have 5 initial cards, and 2 of them are very viable leaders. They're more powerful than the yellow cards. So the question is, Aristotle or Caesar? Caesar gives you a little bit of early initial strength over an opponent, which can help you with aggression. And Aristotle obviously gives you the tech advantage, which is strong as well. In a vacuum, Aristotle is stronger than Caesar if Caesar never gets an aggression off. Make sense? But if the person playing Caesar even gets one aggression off and destroys, let's say, a mine or steals a bunch of resources, then Caesar becomes valid. And this is where the beginning of thinking of the long game comes in. Do you see what I'm saying? So if I choose Aristotle, I'm looking to be strong enough that Caesar can't punish me for that. So oddly, if you pick Aristotle, you have to have more of an army than if you pick Caesar. And if you pick Caesar, you have to think, is Aristotle strong enough? And when the second he's not, you have to get an aggression in, or else you're behind. Make sense? So, since I have a feeling it is safe enough with what's there, I am going to go Aristotle first. So now I grabbed Aristotle, which means my opponent now has 2 choices, generally speaking. He could grab Caesar and a yellow, which is good, or he could grab one of the other wonders, because Moses is also strong, which I can't get. So you see where now there's the first divergence. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. I will then get pyramids, right? If the opponent chooses Caesar and a yellow, I 100% get pyramids. And as of right now, you don't know Hanging Gardens is coming out. You just see Colossus, and Colossus is, generally speaking, a weaker wonder than pyramids in every way. So getting pyramids shuts me out of that, but then you don't get the Caesar threat against Aristotle, which means you have to use Moses to then try and build an extra dude, so that way you can get extra tech that way. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like flip a coin. They're both valid decisions. Going Caesar and a yellow is not a bad decision, but then you know I'm going to go pyramids and get an extra turn on you, so you're more committed to having to fight, because now you have to beat me more than once. Destroying one structure, setting me back once, is enough to counter Aristotle's tech, relatively speaking. But to counter Aristotle's tech and a pyramids, you're going to need at least 2 aggressions. Do you get what I'm saying? Maybe even 3 to counter that much strength. That is true. So then Larry takes pyramids. You can do your move. Oh, sorry, I was busy talking this out. I didn't even realize that it was all my turn. I apologize, not realizing I have to do the pass button. Because I was busy talking it all out with you. I'm sorry. Okay, and it looks like Hanging Gardens is there. So, and you can't contest me for it, so I can get it when it's cheaper. I can do 1 political action. There is no political action worth taking. So I just drop it. Now I can do 4 civil actions, 2 military actions. Obviously, the first move, you almost always see it. Making the bronze is always good. Then, obviously, I have enough to make another dude. Might as well make another dude. There's no harm in doing that. Now, the question is, do I play Aristotle? Well, there's no tech cards to get any bonus, so that's not there. So, clearly, in this particular instance, I'm going to take a 2. So, rich land, build a new minor farm, pay 1 less is decent. Ideal building site, also decent. Revolutionary idea. Since I have Aristotle, that is not as good as the other 2, right? Because I'm already going to be generating more ideas anyway. And then there's patriotism. This round you can build an extra military. Well, because I know Caesar's going to be going, and Homer is less good than Moses, I can already make some assumptions. Our military strength is going to stay comparable for a while, so I don't necessarily need to bulk up. So it's either ideal building site or rich land. I argue, in my mind, that building farms and mines early matter a little bit more. However, since I already put a guy here, I'm going to take the ideal building site. Do you get what I'm saying? Knowing full well that I will use this at some point. Does that make sense? Is there anything else you want me to say on the record before I move on? And now I am passing it on to you. Let me just say it's a record. So yes, upgrading the bronze makes sense and grabbing Moses makes sense. So now the decision comes down. You have 2 decisions with your 2 actions. Correct. Because you have Moses, you don't need an extra farm. I agree. And that would have been the choice I would have made, taking engineering genius. The pyramids is such a strong wonder, giving you that extra civil action for the rest of the game. The sooner you get it done, the sooner you have a huge advantage over your opponent. So even though it might seem like taking Moses and playing him will get you out a guy a little bit faster, and that is true. It'll get you 1 extra guy probably a half a turn sooner or whatever. Getting the engineering genius it's basically that next turn you're going to be able to pay the 3 to 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 finish 1, and then you play that, you got 2, then the very next turn you have pyramids going for the rest of the game. Do you get what I'm saying? So basically within 2 turns you have pyramids, whereas if you don't get engineering genius, it could be 3 and or 4 turns. And then you're losing that flexibility. Am I making sense? What are your thoughts? Mm. You just keep making dues and placing them, and then the thing is, you tend not to like putting people in religion. If you have to put people in religion, you put people in religion because you're making enough dudes. You get what I'm saying? If you're just constantly shitting out dudes, you can have 2, 3 dudes in religion if you need to. Well, you're not going to use so many civil actions to grab alchemy, even though alchemy is important. It's not important enough to forego everything else on your turn. Like that's cut your nose to spite your face. So there's nothing you can do. Okay. Now, because of the fact that you I would argue Hanging Gardens is the second strongest wonder, although Library of Alexandria is also good, but since I have Aristotle, it's not even really a question in this case. So, I definitely want to get Aristotle down anyway, because I'm going to start grabbing technologies. I might even grab alchemy this turn, so Aristotle is going to get played. Oh, civil action time. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. So I'm doing nothing, so I am going to play my Aristotle now. Then I know I want to grab Hanging Gardens, because I don't want to get too far behind on wonders. And now I have the 2 civil actions, 2 military actions. So now that I know those were the automatic things I needed to do, now I could start to decide what is worth what. Do you get what I'm saying? In my particular instance, I don't have access to, let's say, anything that great in the first row. Now, when you talk about revolutionary idea being kind of weak, it is, but breakthrough is not that weak. The fact that because this is almost like playing a technology anyway. Do you get what you're going to do? So the breakthrough cards are good. Do you see what I'm saying? Just putting that out there. So now, my question is breakthrough worth foregoing one of these 2 cards? Well, I don't really need drama because I have Hanging Gardens. So alchemy has now become important to me. Do you see what I'm saying? Because it's a way to get science even past Aristotle, so I don't necessarily need him. So I'm just going to grab the alchemy, and it's also going to generate a science because of Aristotle. Make sense? Now the question is, do I want to build another soldier with this extra dude? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll have corruption if I don't do that. So in this case, I absolutely will. Do you get what I'm saying? No reason not to. And now I'm also a little bit stronger, which means in the future I could start seeding the deck with stuff that equals strength, because now I've forced you to have to defend this. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's also not a bad thing to have done. Make sense? Yes, and this is the thing that you kind of forego in the game. You never want to necessarily be too far behind in any one stat, because there's many cards, as you know, that are like the weakest civilization versus the strongest civilization. I'm not saying you have to build it right now, but you have to think about in the next turn or two to respond. Do you get what I'm saying? Think of it as like I put you in check in a game of checkmate. The second I've actually made a move that is going to significantly change how the deck works, how rewards work. You get what I'm saying? You have to respond because I'm going to run, it runs the risk of something happening. You get what I'm saying? Like, for example, right now I'm looking at an aggression. I don't know that you have a defense card in your hand. Obviously, I'm looking at both because I'm trying to explain stuff. I don't know you have a defense card, but let's say I get a tactics card, you get what I'm saying? And let's say I get phalanx and I build another warrior, and then the very next turn I aggress on you. You get what I'm saying? You have to start thinking shit can happen. You get what I'm saying? You can't just ignore something just because it's not directly pertinent. Am I making sense? Well, first off, you know for a fact that you need to spend at least 2 money as to not get hit with corruption. So whether it's building a section of the pyramids for 3, whether it's building a dude or putting a dude in philosophy, you know you have to spend some money. So now it's just a matter of how do you spend the money most wisely. You see what I'm saying? Hmm. Right, but here's where prediction comes in. 3 cards are going to go on your turn. 3 cards are going to go on my turn. You're going to be able to get alchemy next turn. So so no matter what, you don't have to worry about alchemy. And since I already have alchemy, I can't get alchemy. So alchemy is yours next turn. No matter what, you have alchemy. You see what I'm saying? That is a mistake that you might make, thinking you want it now when you're getting it next turn no matter what. Am I making sense or am I not making sense? So the question you're making, which is the real question essentially, is grabbing iron more beneficial than getting hit with corruption and or leaving me to get iron myself? I see your point. It's not an illegitimate concern to say I want to grab iron now so that way I can upgrade my mine. But you have to remember, by doing that, you are going to have corruption and you're going to delay building your pyramids. Do you see what I'm saying? And you're foregoing getting a civil action card or whatever. Because right now you could build pyramids and grab breakthrough. Or, you know what I'm saying? And that's going to give you, so you're going to get your wonder a little bit done, and you're going to be getting the benefit of 2 science. So you have to ask yourself this question. Does buying iron equate to being worth losing a stage of your pyramids and losing breakthrough. And getting corruption. Because by picking iron, you've just created those. That's what you have to decide. Is it worth those three things? Am I making sense or am I not making sense? Nope, you're actually right, because I wasn't looking at your tactics card. With medieval army, knights is better than breakthrough. I didn't notice that your tactics was medieval army, which is what I was going on. Because generally speaking, breakthrough is perhaps better in most circumstances. It's generally good. Knights is not necessarily always necessary, but in this case, I would argue knights is better. So the theory is as follows. Is it better than knights, a stage of the pyramids, and not hitting corruption? Is iron worth those three things? And this is the mistake that I think you're making, right? You're saying I need this and this is good, but you're not looking at, is it better than those things? And I don't think it is. What are your thoughts? Right, and remember, then the alternative is you get corruption, which means you lose 2 resources, right? You don't get knights, and your pyramids are not being built. So it delays your pyramids at least 1 turn, if not more. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to convince you of this so I grab it. I'm not even playing to defeat you. I have full confidence I can defeat you. This is about me trying to explain these are the mistakes that you're making. That you're doing a good decision, but it's not the optimal decision. Kind of like how in chess, you know how they rate decisions? This is not the optimal decision. You know what I mean? Grabbing iron. Because you're losing too much for it. Absolutely. Because getting that extra civil action the entire game frees you up to then grab iron next time without losing your whole turn. Getting that civil action, the sooner you get it, the sooner you're basically 20% more efficient than me. Am I making sense? Getting 1 more science a turn, I get that you're afraid that Aristotle's going to overwhelm you, and you know I have alchemy, so I'm going to bring that out soon. And yes, I am going to have a tech advantage, but you're going to have a civil action advantage. And what matters more? Civil actions, because civil actions are going to help you fix the tech advantage. Furthermore, you know you're getting alchemy. Remember, it's not going to be gone from the row. You're getting alchemy too. So generally speaking, I'm going to maybe have it out 1 turn ahead of you, which is going to maybe equal, you're going to be down 3 science. At some point you grab a breakthrough, we're even. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. Alright, I don't have a good political action. I do have at least 1 aggression in my hand. I actually have 2, but I don't feel aggressing is strong because it's only 1 difference, and I know tactics cards exist and defense cards exist, so I'm not gonna respond to that yet. So I'm gonna choose to do nothing. Now I have to discard a military card. I'm going to discard one of my aggressions because that's not important right now. Now I know for a fact tech is important and I have a tech advantage, so I'm going to play the alchemy no matter what. And I'm going to choose to upgrade from philosophy because I can afford to do that easy enough. I'm going to have 5, so I need to spend at least actually I have ideal building site, and do I need to spend the 3? So I need 5. So 5 minus 1 equals 4, but then if I make a dude, that's 2, which gets me to 6. So I actually need to undo this, maybe make an inefficient decision. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use ideal building site to build okay, we're going to play alchemy. Oh, I need to make a dude. All right, so I'm going to play alchemy. I'm going to choose to make a dude. But that's only 4 and 5. That's not enough. So I need to choose to make a dude anyway. I'm going to upgrade alchemy. And now it's a matter of one civil action left. Clearly the strongest thing on the board for me is iron. So I'm going to grab the iron. Now why was I debating? I was debating on trying to do ideal building site and putting a dude directly there, but that's only 5 and I only had 4 minerals, so I couldn't afford to do that. And that's what threw me off of my turn. You get what I'm saying? Now that I have iron, and I have alchemy, and I have Aristotle, I know it's going to be soon enough for me to get this down and start upgrading these bronze mines. I also now have to start considering dealing with my hanging gardens to get more happiness, so I can... actually, I have a discontent worker, but I have a worker doing that. So this worker actually has to go in religion, you get what I'm saying, in order to make myself happy. But we'll figure it out. You get what I'm saying? What I'm going to do. Absolutely. Because you have knights, you know medieval army is coming down, and you can even still use it as a military action anyway, even before you build them, knowing full well that you're going to do it in a turn or two. You get what I'm saying? So, going back to what are the guarantees, right? Instead of wasting time and always thinking everything, you know you have to take alchemy. So you might as well do that first, right? Because you're already behind on tech. I have Aristotle. You know you must grab it. So you're grabbing that, right? Because that's a given. Now you can start to think about how can I efficiently handle. You know you're going to play medieval army as one of your military tactics, so you might as well get that out of your hand so that way you can have a different military card. You get what I'm saying? So you're going to just throw that down. Then that leaves you with 3 civil actions and 1 military action. So now it's just a matter of what is the best stuff you can do with what you have available at this point. You see what I'm saying? put a guy in religion or philosophy, and that will cost 3. Oh yeah. But you don't necessarily have to finish the pyramids this turn. You can use engineering genius to get the stage done, and then put some dude in religion to get back 3. But then you're still going to reach corruption. So this is a puzzly decision. You get what I'm saying? I'm definitely. You're gonna probably have to have corruption for a turn. I don't think there's a way you can avoid it. So it's just a matter of how do you best use your turn, knowing full well that you're gonna lose some resources. That sounds like a plan, and that's all good. I think it is because exactly. Well, the question is, do you need theology that badly, or do you need bread and circus? Like, what is that extra civil action eventually going to enable you to do? Do you get what I'm saying? Versus the resources. Like, if you're in a position where it's like you're debating is corruption worth losing getting the civil action, you have to ask yourself, what does one civil action get me? Okay, well, if you figure it gets you one of these 3 costing cards for 2, right? In general, right? That's what you're really saying is, are you planning to get bread and circuses or theology anyway? If the answer is no, then it's not worth it. You see what I'm saying? Hmm. Your main area of strength is you're 1 away from getting your pyramids done. Also, it hasn't hit yet because you're generating a little bit more agriculture. You're eventually going to have a dude advantage as well. And as you can see, yes, we're generating the same amount of tech, but you have 2 people in philosophy, which means once you get alchemy down, you'll be able to get that advantage faster. Because I have to build a dude and then put him there. You get what I'm saying? Also, you have a tactic out. I do not have a tactic. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's not like you're losing in every way. Am I making sense or am I not making sense? You're generating 5 a turn and you only have 4 a turn. Yeah, I see what you're saying. And then you're going to get back the two chits. So play medieval army still. And then you can I see what you're saying. So yeah, well, that's good. Perfect. But they're dudes that will eventually be doing stuff. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you get my point? Like, they will eventually be dudes you don't have to make later. Exactly. Having extra dudes is great. Alright, so now I'm definitely going to play my tactic. Oh, alright, so this. Each player draws 3 military cards. The player whose turn it is does not have to discard excess military cards this round. Great. I ended up getting 2 phalanxes into my hand, and so now knights has just become important to me. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm going to play the tactic phalanx. I'm going to grab knights because that just irrefutably became something I have to be interested in. You get what I'm saying? Now, I want to avoid corruption, which means I have to, at the very least, spend 3. And I am going to build a dude. And that already spends 3. And now I'm going to place a dude. In this case, so I can start to be happy again, I'm going to place a dude in religion, planning later on to grab theology, because I haven't been able to get to my Hanging Gardens yet. Or is the better option to do 2 stages of Hanging Gardens, because that's going to pay me more anyway. And that will pay me more, and that also takes care of my corruption issue. So I will do that then. I will do 2 Hanging Gardens instead, knowing full well that I'm going to finish it next turn, and that will give me all the happy faces that I need. You see what I'm saying? And then I will just pass it on. Because I needed to start thinking about smiley faces so I can actually bring out more dudes. And it's like, wait a second, that's what Hanging Gardens is kind of for. And also you have now a wonder advantage on me, and I don't want that to continue. So do you see why I did what I did? So I had to grab knights because I got phalanx out of that advantage, out of that card draw. I played phalanx because my plan is to bring out knights. I already have 2 warriors down. You get what I'm saying? So knights is going to be easy enough for me to finish. I don't have enough tech to bring down iron, but I need smiley faces, so I'm doing Hanging Gardens. Now I'm passing the turn. Now you just seen me take knights and play phalanx. So now you have to be thinking danger, Will Robinson. You get what I'm saying? Danger. Next turn I might play a knight, make a knight. You don't know what I'm doing, but I could choose to do that. And now my military strength goes up 5. And if I'm 5 versus your 1, your defense card isn't enough, right? So that means you have to get a military to at least 3 this turn, or else you can expect me to hit you next turn. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you, or is that not making sense? Exactly. Exactly. That you want to basically, ultimately, and I'm bringing up the index card for this, ultimately now, I'm typing out, I will attack soon. If I get the phalanx, right, it is at least 7. You need, with your card, to get to 5 within 2 turns or else lose. You get what I'm saying? And the reason that is very simple. I'm going to make it next turn, which means I can't play the plunder or whatever the following turn. It's going to be 2 turns till I can go off on you. Do you get what I'm saying? So you have this turn and 1 more turn, but within those 2 turns you have to do it. You have to get to at least 5 or else you will be punished. You see what I'm saying? So now it's... Not necessarily. I mean, here's the thing. You have extra dudes, so this is where you, making maybe an extra warrior or 2, you can start to plan ahead, thinking like, okay, I'll make an extra warrior or an extra medieval army, knowing full well I'm going to then sack it, and what could give you the most benefit if you do sack it for it. Do you see what I'm saying? This is where you can plan ahead. You get what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? I agree. Yes, I agree. Yep. Wealthy territory in this case, which is what you have, is better because you know for a fact that you're going to probably be able to make more dudes cheaper, right? And have a better chance of winning it later, and it will give you the most utility. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. Well, we'll find out when you make a dude. I mean, I don't remember exactly how that interacts. That's right. Playing knights and building a knight. You have 4 more civil actions, so you might as well do that right now anyway. Okay, so now you've taken what you know you needed to do. And then it's like, what is next most important? And the logic would dictate it's some variant of improving what you're weakest at, right? What are you weakest at? Well, you need to spend 3 resources or else you're going to face corruption. So whether you put a guy in philosophy or religion, that should definitely happen. You get what I'm saying? Just to avoid corruption. That is true. Bread and circuses is good. But you also know that you're not going to be able to get it out for at least 2 more turns. So you can build if you build philosophy, it's 1 more turn. Yeah, so philosophy and then grab bread and circuses. Agreed. That's good. There's also the case to be made of irrigation. But I have all these guys. Yeah, but in like 5 more turns, Aristotle and Moses are dead. So, if you don't grab it, I'm gonna grab it. And then I have irrigation and iron. And you're playing bread and circuses the very next turn most likely, so you're only gonna have 2 techs in your hand. Exactly. Agreed. Well, each turn is 6. He's alive for 3 more turns, Larry. It's not like he's alive for a long time. You need irrigation. I don't know why you're wasting 7 minutes and I have to explain to you over and over again why you need irrigation, but you need irrigation. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Also, if you don't get it, I get both irrigation and iron, and I have basically the mega engine, and you just lose. Do you really see what I'm saying though? Because I've already explained it to you, and then you're like, do I really want to? Whatever, and it just feels like, why is it hard for you to understand why irrigation is the right pick here? What am I? Okay. Alright, so now I need to start doing what I need to do. So step 1, I'm actually going to finish my hanging garden so I don't have to worry about happiness anymore. Oh, political action. I am stronger than you at this moment. No, you've changed things, but it doesn't matter. Because I'm not going to pull an aggression, so I'm going to play this instead. So I'm going to play boom, and that each civilization produces 2 iron. That's great. I have to discard 3 military cards. I'm going to discard the fighting band because I have something better. My second phalanx I have something better, and this one event card because it's meaningless, keeping my aggression and a bonus. So now I'm discarding the selected cards. My next choice, 4 civil actions, 2 military actions. I know I want to finish the Hanging Gardens. I have just achieved that. I know I want to get strong to try and maybe pull off an aggression against you. Also, you've just showed medieval army, you might want to pull off an aggression versus me. So you've forced my hand, similar to putting my king in check, to play the knights. You see what I'm saying? And now since you've just forced my hand to play the knights, I'm going to trigger the phalanx by putting a dude here. And now I've taken the military lead, and I think that's a good thing, so I can eventually maybe attack you. I don't know if I'm going to, though. Make sense? So now the question is, what should I do next? I want to put another guy in agriculture because I don't have Moses. I don't have a ton of extra fucking dudes. But I don't have the money to do that right now. I want to put another dude in alchemy because you've tied me with tech. I don't have a tech advantage anymore. I also know that I want to have some sort of culture generation. We're getting to the point where culture generation makes sense. Theology can do it. You get what I'm saying? But never does as much. Printing press can do it, but I don't have the 3 actions to grab it. At this moment in time, I'm thinking, damn, this kind of sucks for me. You get what I'm saying? I have no good thing. So now it's a matter of what are 2 civil actions that I can use that are going to be helpful? Well, engineering genius is great. I know I'm going to build another wonder at some point. You get what I'm saying? So is engineering genius and theology better than, let's say, grabbing an efficient upgrade? You get what I'm saying? I think it is. Engineering genius is 3 versus 2, so just number-wise it is stronger. I get what you say sometimes of like, well, you don't know if you're going to get a wonder. You're going to get a wonder eventually. So getting more minerals, at least this is my logic, it's always better to have more than less. You see what I'm saying? That's my logic as to why I like engineering genius versus, let's say, efficient upgrade. Obviously, engineering genius and efficient upgrade are both better than, let's say, mineral deposits, right? Because it doesn't take a civil action to play and then use. The fact that you can immediately use it makes it so much stronger. So I'm going to go with engineering genius and theology because I am going to need more happy faces. Hanging Gardens has helped me for now, but I know I will need happy faces later. You see what I'm saying? And then I will just simply pass it off to you. Did my turn make sense to you, by the way? You need bread and circuses more. You need the happy faces more than you need the lab, but that's just my thoughts. You see what I'm saying? Because you want to make more dudes, but you can't put those dudes anywhere until bread and circuses come out. Do you get what I'm saying? So, and you have to spend money, and you don't want to put another person in labs because then you start having the discord. So you have to put bread and circuses and start putting people in and getting smiling faces until, you know what I'm saying? And now you can build a dude, or build a dude, place a dude. You get what I'm saying? And that's the $74 million question, right? I mean, here's the thing: you're nearly equally as strong, and with getting happiness through bread and circuses, you know strength isn't a weakness, so you don't necessarily need Joan of Arc to repel me. You get what I'm saying? You do have alchemy, which means you don't necessarily need printing press either. So the main question is, do you want swordsmen? Do you get what I'm saying? Or do you want more dudes? And that's situationally useful. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, do you feel threatened by me? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you feel like you need the swordsman? Because here's the thing, there's two of them. I'm probably going to grab one next turn no matter what, because I have Aristotle. You get what I'm saying? So I'm going to grab one. So there's that to think of as well. You see what I'm saying? That if you don't grab it, I'm going to grab it, or you're going to have a chance to grab the other one. Well, if they slide down, they're both going to be in the thing, and I could grab the later one and it's going to go away. So I'm going to have a swordsman advantage, and then you're going to have to wait for riflemen. So that's the risk. Am I making sense or am I not making sense? But since I have iron, you know I'm not contesting you for iron. And I think these are decisions that when you have infinite time to think about, you're making correctly, but in a short time period, you may not get correct. You see what I'm saying? Now, because you grab swordsman, I'm like, whoa, he's going swordsman, I have to respond. You see what I'm saying? So now you forced my hand, I must also grab swordsman. But I can't do it right now because I have cards in my hand. So I have to play a card to grab swordsman. You see what I'm saying? So what do I need most? Well, I don't need the happiness yet of whatever, because I can keep building dudes, correct? So iron matters more than theology at the moment, right? So I'm going to play iron. Oh, whoops, it's a matter of seeding the deck right now. Alright, so I choose to do nothing, right? I have to discard a military card. It's the tactics I don't need, that's obvious. So now I'm going to play iron, which is going to open up my hand, correct? To grab swordsman. And then I could choose to play swordsman. And then I can start upgrading my swordsman So the question is, what's the best way to go about this scenario right now? I have to spend at least 3 to not do it, and I only have 1 splash enough, so I have to upgrade a mine. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's my only option now. Now I have 2 military actions, but I don't have enough thing. And then I could upgrade one of these with a military action as well. Making me stronger still. And then I'm just gonna pass it. Does my turn make sense to you? No, I agree. That makes sense. Alright, deciding to keep an aggression to stay flexible in case you can use it later. Absolutely, I understand. Right, remember, when we're doing this, we're seeing it from my perspective, so I can't see your hand completely. You get what I'm saying? But in this case, what you're thinking through is how best to keep pace. And in this case, it's obviously getting alchemy down overall because you've been behind on technology due to Aristotle's power. But you're ahead on dudes because of Moses's power. So the question is, when do you need to start cutting into my science lead with your dudes, essentially? Yeah. Now for my turn, my guy just died, and I see something very unique has happened. Whenever Christopher Columbus is near the end of a turn, do you get what I'm saying? Near the end of the era, that means you can immediately grab a leader in 2, so you're not going to have Columbus sitting around doing nothing for too long if you have a territory in your hand. I currently do. So I'm going to use the Columbus strategy. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm going to choose to do nothing. I must discard a military card. In this case, I'm actually discarding my aggression, the one aggression I have left, because I want to settle my fertile territory and I want my colonization bonus / defense card, mostly for the colonization bonus. I feel you're strong enough that I can't guarantee a win, so that's why I'm doing this. Make sense? So now I'm grabbing Columbus, and I'm playing Columbus so I can immediately score fertile territory next turn for no civil actions. Do you see what I'm saying? That is massive. Now, I know yet again, I need to get some dudes back. I'm gonna generate 1, 2, 3, 5, so building a pop will enable me to do that, which I will now do. Now I have 1 civil action left, and the question is, what is the most important thing for me to do? Do I want to grab one of these yellow things? Do I want to grab Code of Laws to offset the fact that you've been having pyramids all this time? Do I want to build theology? Do you get what I'm saying? There's lots of ways I can choose to play this. You see what I'm saying? In this case, I'm debating between grabbing Ideal Building Site and Code of Laws. Now, you might be saying, like, well, why not just upgrade a mine? Because that's gonna concurrently give you more than if you grabbed Ideal Building Site. Yeah, but if I upgraded the, it's only gonna get 1 ore, where Ideal Building Site is gonna be 2 ore. Do you see why in this case, Ideal Building Site is technically better than just generating 1 more ore? You see what I'm saying? So it is better than that. Now the question is Code of Laws better than Ideal Building Site? You see what I'm saying? In most cases it might not be. But because you have pyramids, I know that if I play Code of Laws, I basically kill your pyramids. And since I've had Aristotle, and I have enough, and I have alchemy, it's conceivable that I can get that down without too much trouble. You see what I'm saying? Do you see why I grabbed Code of Laws over Ideal Building Site? And you see why even Ideal Building Site is technically better than simply upgrading an iron? Mm? Well, you know, once you know you need to do something, do that thing, because this is where you're also fucking yourself up. You get what I'm saying? Once you've made the decision, I need to do something, follow that to conclusion, so that way you're not going back and always resetting. Am I making sense? What's the most powerful thing on the board for you right now? Correct. And what's the second most powerful thing? I disagree. The reason with cartography is you don't know when the territories are going to come out, and because you haven't actually made that many more dudes yet, you don't know. For all you know, I have a whole bunch of colonization bonuses in my hand or whatever. So you don't know, even with cartography, if you can do it. On top of that, that costs 4 science. You need to get your iron down first, so you're not going to be able to play it for at least 3 turns. What's gonna give you more benefit, or have definite benefit? Leonardo da Vinci. And Leonardo da Vinci, the fact that you already have alchemy, he's going to stack with alchemy being way, way stronger. So with your 3 civil actions, St. Peter's and Leonardo da Vinci, well, grabbing da Vinci and St. Peter's, both. So you're getting the 2 best cards on the board for you right now. You can actually get both of them. No, I thought was St. Peter's cost 2. Do you see why those 2 are better than cartography? While also giving you a culture generation mechanism. Because you have none of it so far. Alright, so I'm going to activate Columbus, and I'm going to bring out my fertile territory. Do you get what I'm saying? Freeing me up to eventually not even need Columbus anymore. You get what I'm saying? That's why I did what I did there. Now, do I need theology down this turn? Sort of. I know I want to build another alchemy. You're out-teching me at this point, and that's mildly pissing me off, right? So I need to respond. I must discard 1. So I'm gonna discard the shitty card that I don't need. I'm going to put another dude in alchemy immediately of my dudes. So now I need to spend a little bit more resources. So I will make another dude. Now I have 2 civil actions. So now the question is, what is the best use of these civil actions? Since I just got the fertile territory off of Columbus, I don't necessarily have to get irrigation. You see what I'm saying? I'm free from being tied to it. Not saying I won't get it. I'm just saying I don't have to get it. Am I making sense? So now the question is, what do I need to do? Ocean liner, is that worth it? Once per turn, you can increase your population without using a civil action. This costs you 5 food less. I could get the ocean liner, which makes me even less dependent on food, but it's going to cost a lot of ore. I don't think that's the best wonder that I can grab. You get what I'm saying? So I'm thinking that's a no. Now, with my other civil actions, I don't think I want to. I can't bring out Code of Laws yet, and 5 minus 2 equals 3 plus 4. I could bring out Theology this turn and Code of Laws next turn. I'm probably going to need irrigation at some point, and I'm thinking this is how I'm going to do it. This is where the strategy is starting to come in, right? I have a couple of ways to go with this. I could play Theology, setting myself up to play Code of Laws the following turn, and then I could grab one of these things. I could grab 2 of these things, planning to respond in a meaningful way. You see what I'm saying? I have decided I'm going to grab 2. I can't grab 2 things actually because I don't have the ability to fit it in my hand, right? So now the question is, do I need irrigation or not? Because I'm going to grab a government. I am going to argue, this is my idea, that for my strategy, you're still stuck on despotism. You don't even have a leader. I see you have Leonardo da Vinci on, he's going to get you tech, but you're not going to be able to change your government anytime soon. If I grab monarchy, I will have the tech next turn to roll out monarchy, and that's going to offset the pyramids. And then since I have Code of Laws, the following turn I'll actually have even more actions than you. And even when you do get constitutional monarchy, you'll only go back over 1 because Code of Laws on monarchy is still 6. You see what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm talking about? What am I talking about? And then now the question, and then I'm also going to upgrade the swordsman because I know that I'm going to lose my next turn. Well, I still have military actions, but I know that I'm not going to. I just feel there's no reason to waste an action. Do you get what I'm saying? So. And so. I'm going to pass it. Right, and you have the +1. So yes, colonization is what you want to trigger now. Right, because you have +3 and you have, with military and army, you have the ability to perhaps contest me that way too. So it's actually not bad to do it. That is true, and it could come out and colonizations could come out any time, right? You probably put some in, I probably put some in, so it is a risk you're willing to take. But you just saw me grab monarchy, so you know I'm probably gonna revolt into it next turn. So there is that to consider. Just pointing out that even when I revolt, that doesn't remove your military actions, just your civil actions. So I can still I can still have a conversation. So what is your area of weakness right now? Your area of weakness is the fact that you're still stuck on bronze mines because things are going to get more expensive. You get what I'm saying? So that's a definite move you want to do. The fact that you have alchemy out, playing Leonardo da Vinci you want to do. So those are things. Now you can't play Iron Mine, you don't have enough tech, so da Vinci comes down. Then you probably want to upgrade your other lab, but then you can't build St. Peter's. So now you have a couple of choices. What matters more, tech or St. Peter's? Tech or St. Peter's? That's the first thing. That is true. So you need to math it out. So you can do alchemy and still build another warrior, let's say, and you're not necessarily going up a ton, but you're at least making headway. Because spending all your 5 things trying to double your bonus, I mean, if you do that, you're doing that at the cost of getting the science or getting St. Peter's. Do you see what I'm saying? Not to mention you don't have enough happiness to do that either. Well, I think it shows me like you need at least one free dude, I guess. So I guess you don't go into revolt, but you can't build another dude then. Which is infinitely worse than doing 2 things. So St. Peter's is not the right choice in this case. The right choice is either building a warrior and building an alchemy or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Yes. Cause I can respond. You're you're not getting any future benefit. You're not helping the engine. You're just getting a stronger military. Yes, I get your point. Like, well, what happens if I do a attack card? You have defense +4. It's meaningless. Do you see what I'm saying? There's no reason to do that. Zero. It is completely fucking stupid. You're basically gaining 1, 2, 3, 5. You're gaining 5. You're going, ooh, up to 11. Like, you think, and you can't attack me this turn. You think I can't stop that? You think it just makes no sense. But you're foregoing getting future science, and you could build one warrior. Look! What you're talking about is literally getting you one more dude off of upgrading a lab and building a warrior. For colony, it doesn't matter strength. It just matters dudes. You see what I'm saying? And I have 3 dudes, and then you'd have 3 dudes. I don't understand why you're so obsessed with that problem. Not saying there won't be a problem, because by the way, I have conquistadors in my hand, so I'm going to probably be getting stronger soon. But at this point, you don't know that, and based on what you know, you should be trying to get more science, especially because you have shit you have to research. Do you get what I'm saying? You want to bring down swordsmen, you want to bring down your iron mine, you want to do all these things, you want to get other cards. Like, science is always good. Am I making sense, or am I not making sense? How am I making sense? Exactly. Yes, you still want to build a warrior. So now the question is, what do you do with your 3 civil actions? And that's a lot of different options at this point. The main thing is probably team sports in a way, because then that means you move bread and circuses up 1, and because you're already getting more science, it'll be easier to get that. Scientific method is also a good concept, right? You already have 2 guys in alchemy, so that naturally stacks with what you're already doing. Those are the 2 strongest right now for you. Do you get what I'm saying? Strategy is good, but you're already kind of like tech jammed. Do you get what I'm saying? So putting in something 8, you get what I'm saying, is probably too much. Since you have to already spend 8, you're not going to be able to play it for 3 turns minimum. And it's not like you're also not going to want to play scientific method or team sports more so than strategy. Plus, I can't get it anyway, so it's not a threat. Do you get what I'm saying? Is any of this making sense to you? Right, considering the cost of attack. Exactly. At 8, and you're generating 5, that means it's going to take a minimum of 2 turns for you to get it. Do you get what I'm saying? But are you going to then just wait those 2 turns for it, or would you rather have scientific method to then generate more science, and or team sports to generate more smileys? These are both more important. Also, since I can't get it, it's not a threat. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, maybe if I had extra military actions to be a threat, then you'd have to respond. So at this case, the 2 strongest for you is method and sports. You have to decide which one you think is better in your case. They're both good, right? One gets you more happiness, so it takes care of the happiness problem, which you're starting to come up against. The other gets you more science, which is always good. Now, you can technically get both, right? Or you not have the ancestor wealth. You do have the ancestor wealth, so you could always get both too, but then you're not getting bountiful harvest or efficient upgrade. You get what I'm saying? Because if you get scientific method, you can grab bountiful harvest. If you get team sports, you can grab efficient upgrade. So now you have to ask yourself, now that you've ascertained these are the three choices: scientific method, bountiful harvest, team sports, efficient upgrade, or team sports, scientific method, you have to decide which of those three choices are the best. Do you see how I narrow it down? And now you're just making now you've seen that there's three choices left. Which of these three you're going to do? So once you decide something you have to do, you do what you have to do, and then you narrow it to the things that you might do, and then you could start thinking of, okay, so these are the last choices, which is the best? Am I making sense? Mm-hmm. Correct, that makes sense, especially because you already have two techs, so having four techs in your hand is kind of retarded. Correct. So now the question is, team sports and upgrade and scientific method or harvest? Just so you know, I have work tomorrow, so I only have 1 more hour to go through this, so you can't just spend like fucking 7 minutes talking through this. I'm putting it out there, and you know, if you, I mean, because at some point I'm just gonna concede, or we're gonna just whatever. So 7 minutes and 31 seconds plus the initial time that you were allotted. I mean, that is a pretty long time. Probably. Alright, so now for my turn, one political action. I don't have a political action I can spend. Now I must discard one military card. I have two conquistadors, so I'm going to discard one of them. Now I'm going to play monarchy. I'm going to do revolution, obviously, because I can't afford it peacefully. Now I have three military actions. I'm going to bring out my conquistadores. And then I'm going to build another knight. And then I have one other military action. I could afford to make another warrior, but I don't think that's as important right now, since if anything I want to put two more in knights to get even more stacking of conquistadors. So I don't want to put anything else in warriors, because I might want to make two more knights to get another conquistador bonus. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just going to pass. main problem is the fact that I am generating a lot more mineral than you at this point still. Exactly. See, that's the mistake. See, that's part of the mistake you're making. You get what I'm saying? And things are going to get more expensive, and I'm only going to upgrade it from here. So you need to get your iron down. You need to do that. And not to mention, how much more mineral have I been generating over the course of the game? I don't remember exactly what turn I got it on, but I've already got a lead on you on iron. Do you see what I'm saying? Hold on. So what was it? So it was the fishing upgrade. Was that a building or is that? Mm-hmm. That's what I would lean towards. Because if you don't, you know, or you don't know, but you can assume I might have an aggression. I do, and I am going to then attack you because 5 is enough that I have to assume you might have to use all your tactics or whatever. So if you don't do it, you have to assume the hammer's coming, right? If you ever get it separated by more than 5, you have to assume the hammer's coming. Am I making sense or am I not making sense? Well, you have to grab constitutional monarchy because I grab monarchy, right? Like it automatically, the second I grabbed attack, do you get what I'm saying? I've basically thrown down and said, I am going to F you up with actions. Now, I'm not saying you want to revolt into it like I did, but you definitely want to consider having it. You see what I'm saying? Now, going back to the thing we've talked about before, you have 3 techs in your hand, and you're only generating 5 a turn, which isn't even enough to play Constitutional Monarchy for another turns from now. So whatever else you grab, it cannot be tech related, i.e. it's either revolutionary idea or frugality. In this case, you are so tech deprived, I think revolutionary idea makes sense, because dudes is not your problem. What are your thoughts? Okay, now you've put some decisions on me. Do you get what I'm saying? By you doing what you did. Now, I don't know that you have a defense bonus. In fact, I see that you only have 2 of those cards left. You see what I'm saying? So I'm actually going to choose to do an aggression on you because I don't know you don't have it, and I think maybe you've discarded it or whatever. You get what I'm still stronger than you. So I'm playing an aggression like a real opponent. You get what I'm saying? I don't think I need to sacrifice units because I'm stronger and I don't want to waste resources on rebuilding units, so I'm going to just make the attack. Now, my next move is, why did I want to get my extra civil actions? So I can do something big. As you can see, there is literally not much culture up here. I have to start thinking about the end game. We're in age 2 already. I have been generating more culture than you, but like 7 points is not a game ender. Plus, I have engineering genius, so what's a wonder that can give me a lot of culture? Do you see what I'm saying? So now I have to make the choice of, is it Eiffel Tower or is it Kremlin? Because they're both going to do what I need in terms of culture, but one's going to give me a little bit more happiness. The other is going to make me have to put more people in theology. So I have to ask myself, what matters more? Putting 2 more people in theology, but I get that extra two actions. You see what I'm saying? But I lose people. I don't have a way to generate people yet. I'm still on agriculture, so people matter more to me, so it's Eiffel Tower. You see what I'm saying? Now comes my next question. What matters most here? So it's kind of rough for me because I want to play Code of Laws, which gets me more civil actions. And since it replaces itself, I'm going to do that. You see what I'm saying? Now, I know that I have 2 civil actions left. Do I want to start building the Eiffel Tower? Or do I want to grab any of this stuff up here? Well, I know now I don't have a cheap way to deal with the people generation anymore, right? There's no necessarily a fertile territory coming out. There's no more tricks. After I make 2 more people, I'm going to be stagnant. So selective breeding has just become important to me. Not to mention I can get it out next turn. You get what I'm saying? Now, the question is do I want cavalrymen over knights, or do I want to build the Eiffel Tower? Well, let's look at math. If I don't build, I get hit with corruption. Even if I do build, and if I do build, I'm avoiding it. You see what I'm saying? So, actually, do I not avoid it? Because that's only going to take... It doesn't take 3. I still have 2 chits out, so I actually have to build a dude. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see the math here? So I'm actually going to build my population. Oh, but I could also put a guy in knights to try and get my conquistador bonus. Can I do both? So 3, build 1 stage of a wonder, pay 3 less. Can do that. And I could build this. And then that takes a military action. So what's 3 minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? That's 3. And then I'm generating at least 4 next turn, so I can get Eiffel Tower's 2nd stage done then. And I think that's the best thing, especially if I get another attack card and I can threaten you again. You get what I'm saying? So now I'm going to choose to play Engineering Genius. Oh wait, I can't afford that pip though. Can't afford that pip, right? Yeah, 3 plus 5 is not undo. Sorry. Right, because this is an important turn here. So I know Code of Laws is coming out. I know I'm grabbing selective breeding. I have 4 civil actions left. I know I'm grabbing the Eiffel Tower. And now it's how do I avoid this stuff? Okay. So I'm just gonna upgrade an iron mine. That's always good. But I still have corruption. No, so I have to build a dude. That was a mistake. Okay. Sorry about that. Code of Laws coming down, replacing itself. Eiffel Tower's coming down, win condition. Grabbing selective breeding so I don't have issues anymore. Building a dude to avoid corruption. And then I have a choice of do I want to build a military unit or not. I choose no at this point because I want to save up more money for the Eiffel Tower. Make sense? So what are your thoughts on the turn I just made real quick before we talk about your turn? which you might need versus my conquistadors, especially. You already see I have 2 population I could put into it next turn, so I could have 2, 4. I could have 9 more attack, at which point at 22 damage I will just beat you to death. So that is probably, if I was on your end and this wasn't just tutorial, that's what I would probably respond to. You get what I'm saying? The fact that I am getting so stronger. You get what I'm saying? St. Peter's is definitely a good thing to do, but you have to ask yourself, what are you foregoing for St. Peter's? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if you didn't get St. Peter's, what would you be getting? Do you get what I'm saying? And in all honesty, you don't have a ton of great options right here. You get what I'm saying? Like, so, I mean, one is you might need cannons for the formation, right? And with that 5 action, you can grab later cannon, and then I can't counter with cannon. This is where card denial comes in. You get what I'm saying? Or you could grab cavalry men, denying me upgrading my knights, and since I have conquistadors, I've already invested in knights and will have to put 2 more knights in. So if I have cavalrymen, you know what I mean? That could be another way to go. Do you get what I'm saying? So one of those 2 you might want to get. Other cases is, you know that even when you do have St. Peter's is not as strong as Eiffel Tower, so you might need to think about win condition, i.e. some sort of point generation. So even though it costs a lot, there's a case to be made for journalism just to keep you from being shut out. Do you get what I'm saying? Or grabbing Shakespeare, even though Napoleon's strong, and I might grab him if you don't. That's also something to consider. I'm just putting that out there. Even if I do grab him, which will suck, if you don't have any culture generation, you lose 2. Do you get what I'm saying? So this is your hardest turn in the game. You could grab Napoleon, which is good, but then you're basically ceding a lot of tech. Do you get what I'm saying? To me, you're basically saying you can out-tech me now. Do you get what I'm saying? And since you do only have medieval army, there's no guarantee you're going to get enough out of him. Right now, he's only going to get you 2 more strength. I could build 2 more knights, and I get 9 more strength. You see what I'm saying? And if you don't also take cavalrymen, I can make them even stronger still. You see what I'm saying? That is definitely a particular strategy. I'm not saying that's not good. I'm just saying that there comes a risk of you grabbing him that I just blow you out on culture. Do you see what I'm saying? Because that makes you strong, but it just doesn't generate any culture for you, really. You get what I'm saying? Not enough to counter my culture strength. Do you see what I'm saying? That is true. And if you don't grab him, I will definitely grab him because he's going to be good for me. It's not a no-win. It's you have to decide how you want to try and win the game. If you grab Napoleon, literally nothing else has mattered that you've done this far. You must win a war versus me or you lose. Because you're not going to have any good culture generation. Because I'm probably going to finish, look at my resources. I'm probably going to finish Eiffel Tower the very next turn with Engineering Genius. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm going to be generating 4 culture a turn, And even if you do St. Petersburg, you're going to be generating 2 less. Do you see what I'm saying? And yes, you've denied me cavalrymen, but don't act like tanks don't come. Don't act like I can't do other stuff. You see what I'm saying? And with and then I could grab Shakespeare and I could grab journalism. You get what I'm saying? On my turn, and have even more culture generation. Do you see how with you, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying if you grab Napoleon and cavalrymen, you only win the game then through a military victory, which you may not have the war cards, you may not have the formations, you may not have the ability to do it. If you go the peaceful route, I grab Napoleon, and then you have to keep pumping shit up, so that way I can't just pound you down. Do you see what I'm saying? So, am I making sense or am I not making sense? What are your thoughts? Yeah. But you should still maybe take cavalrymen too, just to keep me from getting it. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's irrespective of grabbing Napoleon. It's just a question of, is the other thing better? Do you get what I'm saying? Is Napoleon and cavalrymen better than journalism and cavalrymen? Does that make sense? All right. So I feel like the deck is favoring me and I have more people to sack. You don't have any sort of bonus right now, so I'm definitely going to play this. Ah, cool. So since I get to bid first, I can look at you and I could say, like, how much do I need to bid to be annoying? Well, you can easily get 1 plus 2, 3, 4, 5. So the question is, what is 5 to me? 5 is, I would have to break 2 dudes and use a colonization card. Is it worth it? Do you get what I'm saying? To me to do that. Well, since I'm currently stronger than you, and I'm going to get Napoleon in theory this turn, you get what I'm saying? I feel like I can afford it. Do you see what I'm saying? So now I bid the 5. Now that I bid 5, you have to look at what you have and be like, well, they, she, or he, or whoever, just decided they're assuming I'm going to kill a warrior and a knight, and with the medieval army, I can now counter with my colonization, still do that, and bid 7 comfortably and probably win it. Or if I want to be a little kooky, I could probably bid 6 and see if they're willing to go 7 and sacrifice another unit themselves, in which case then they're going to be weakened for a long time. You see what I'm saying? So I would, at this point, I would bid either 6 and or 7, or you could, am I making sense or am I not making sense? So now I'm like, fuck, they bid 7. They must have a card, right? So now I have to decide how much is it going to cost me to beat 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 dudes and a colonization card for me is the minimum. That's not worth it. So now I pass, and I'm like, curses. You get what I'm saying? But I understand that I couldn't afford anything else. You see what I'm saying? I did the best I could. And I can't assume that you have that. You get what I'm saying? But now I know that you're weakened, so my next logical move is, oh shit, he's weak. I don't know that you're going to rebuild it next turn. I don't know you have another defense card. You get what I'm saying? I'm playing it normal, so I'm bringing out Napoleon. I'm like, you just screwed me. I'm going to screw you back. Am I making sense? So now I did that. That's step 1. Step 2, it's harder for me to make dudes, so I know selective breeding needs to come down. Then I want to get my wonder going. So I'm going to build this part, play engineering genius, build that part, and then wait a second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hit corruption that way. But I have an extra guy and I have enough money, so I am gonna mess you up, and I can get another double bonus of Conquistador. So I decide I will build another knight. You know what I'm saying? So that way, with double Conquistador Napoleon, I have decided I am going to beat you up now for taking that. Now you know what I'm doing, so you have to respond in kind. You get what I'm saying? Now your turn has changed. Whatever you thought you were going to do is over. You have to respond to Napoleon aggression, or else you will lose this game. Do you get what I'm saying? And that is a decision. By the way, you have to know that I am going to be being aggressive. You don't have a 14-point deficit when someone has Napoleon, and they're not going to be aggressive. So you have to do whatever you do now. You have to try and make your civilization as strong as possible to prevent me from just blowing you away. You get what I'm saying? Yep, upgrading that makes sense. Now, the one thing you can't do is flood your hand with tech. Yet again, you're only generating 5 a turn, which means it's going to be a minimum of 2 turns to get out pretty much any of this stuff except team sports. So with your 3 civil actions left, you have to grab things that don't require tech that are still good for you. Do you see what I'm saying? And wave of nationalism is also good for you in this case because you know I'm going to be an aggressor at some point, and that can help you upgrade your military units for cheap. In fact, if you think about it, that's six ore, so that's a knight and a swordsman right there. But you see how even though I have Napoleon, you can repel it if you realize you need to repel it. You see what I'm saying? Makes sense. Now it ends up in my case, I did not have an attack card. Do you get what I'm saying? Yep. So I have to play. I'm going to still play a political action though. The weak zone gives 1 yellow token from a yellow bank to the strongest. Huzzah! That helped me out a lot because now I don't have to necessarily. I can upgrade to selective reading, but I don't necessarily need to upgrade both to selective reading. You get what I'm saying? I really want to start putting the hurt on point-wise. So building this Eiffel Tower is definitely happening. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, I don't have enough food to make selective reading yet, and because I just did the Eiffel Tower move, I'm stuck on that. Now, for my particular setup, I will need some more science, especially because you've outscienced me, and I already have 2 in alchemy, so scientific method for 1 is just basically a nice little cheap discount. Now, what can I do to stop you from scoring the most points? I don't know you're not going to grab opera. You get what I'm saying? I don't know. And on top of that, that's the only thing that generates culture on the board, and I'm generating more culture than you. So I'm going to grab it. Do you get what I'm saying? As kind of like a denial game. I mean, organized religion is just not worth it. I don't need that extra happy face. I can put 1 person in theology, and that should be enough for me. Do you get what I'm saying? And so opera could actually come in handy. Now I saw you get Wave of Nationalism, which means you might strike me. Do you get what I'm saying? So I have to think, damn, how am I going to respond to that? I need to not let that go. I can grab rich land, and I can grab patriotism, so I can build up more of my own units. Do you get what I'm saying? And build up my own things to counter what you just grabbed. Now I have 1 civil action left, but not enough to do anything with it, and that's going to be the end of my turn. Did this turn make sense to you? Do you see why I did what I did? The only other thing that I could have perhaps done is instead of grabbing rich land and patriotism, grab engineering genius instead of these 2. But here's the thing. I only have 1 extra, so I can only grab from the 2 safely. Do you see what I'm saying? Clearly, I don't need another government. Isaac Newton doesn't make sense. I'm already got into Napoleon. Coal would be nice, but I still haven't even upgraded both my mines to iron mines yet, and that should be enough. Do you get what I'm saying? Especially with rich land and patriotism. Does all this make sense to you now? What are your thoughts on what I'm doing? Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Nope. Anything that's stronger is there, plus I have more units, so you can even win a battle. Do you get what I'm saying? So there's zero benefit to that. You see what I'm saying? Absolutely. Well, I didn't have an aggression last turn. This isn't me throwing magic out there, but do you think I don't have one now? But here's the thing, if I do have one now, you get what I'm saying? You're running a risk. You see what I'm saying? So you have to, this is a decision marker, and I don't want to just hold your hand for every decision. Obviously, I have perfect information. I can see what I have and what you have, and I've been telling you a lot of what I have, but at this point, this is could be a game changer. You get what I'm saying? Do you gamble that I don't have a meaningful aggression? Do you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It is considered one of the better wonders in Age 2. It gives me happiness, and it gives me the 4 culture. Alright. Alright, so now since I have perfect information, I will tell you I am going to do an aggression on you next turn if you're not closer, right? Because I have Napoleon, he makes sense for aggression. And I have multiple aggression cards because I'm Napoleon, so even if you repel it, forcing you to spend defense cards and stuff is good, because then further aggressions will have a higher likelihood of success. Do you see what I'm saying? So no matter what, I will aggress. So if I was in your position, I would defend against potential aggression. Do you get what I'm saying? Now I get the point that you're saying, like, yeah, but I'm behind on culture, but you have to remember, once that ball starts rolling, you're going to lose aggression after aggression after aggression after aggression. Do you get what I'm saying? And then you lose the game anyway. So there is that. Second, you have a lot of civil actions. You can grab multimedia. Do you get what I'm saying? And perhaps go to multimedia and even forgo journalism. Do you get what I'm saying? Or go journalism and then immediately go into multimedia and move your journalists into multimedia as your solution. Additionally, you haven't had anyone. You can grab Isaac Newton right now, and he stacks really nice with your alchemy. So that's definitely a really good choice. Do you get what I'm saying? Especially because you don't need Robespierre, and you don't have any theaters for Bach. So Isaac Newton, grab and play is no brainer. You get what I'm saying? Am I making sense or am I not making sense? So now with the 3 civil actions, you have to ask yourself what matters most. Grabbing multimedia, building, building more military, you get what I'm saying? Like, you have lots of ethereal decisions to make. Am I making sense or am I not making sense? And you also have to remember, you can sack dudes to boost your defense, right? You can use defense cards to boost your defense, but remember, if you sack a dude, then you have to rebuild that dude, so, so I would definitely rebuild, I would build more. Knowing that I only have 4 defense, I would want to build a dude, and here's the thing, you don't have to put him in swordsman. You could save some mineral and just put him in warrior, and it's still enough with the defense card, at least for 1 turn. You get what I'm saying? Unless you need to spend the money, because you're going to go into corruption without it. You can upgrade a mine, so that way you're functionally getting the same amount of minerals. And now this is a question of, do you want to grab engineering genius or coal or something? The one downside is you're only generating 5 tech a turn, so you can't even play coal for 2 turns, but you want to play journalism first to start generating culture, yada 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 yada. Yep. Okay. I have decided I am going to do an attack. So the question is, what attack do I want to do? Logically, since I think I'm going to stay stronger than you for the majority of the game, I want to use my strongest attacks later. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm going to play this one. And I'm not going to do anything. And now I'm thinking, damn, alright, now I know that he used that. I'm hoping he doesn't have more. You get what I'm saying? I know that I need better tech. I know that I need better things. So I'm going to use rich land to get some more thing. And I'm going to build iron. I'm going to then upgrade from bronze. So now I have all the money I will probably ever need for the rest of the game. And now I have I'm going to play the scientific method. And then it's a matter of what else do I want to do. You have 1 extra military action. And an extra 3 extra for building military units. If I fucking built a dude, sorry, you okay? If I built, I don't know, I think something went wrong. Hold on a second. I'm gonna undo my turn. I think somehow, I don't know why my iron mine went the way it did. Alright, so, alright, so I have to build, alright, so here's the thing. Rich land. Alright, I see what's going on here. So I have to play rich land, and I'm gonna build selective breeding. I'm then going to upgrade. I don't have enough resources to do that. Fine. I'm going to destroy. What the fuck just happened? That's not what I wanted to destroy. I wanted to fucking destroy my fucking shitty farm. Why the hell is it fucking not doing what I want it to do? This goddamn machine. Sorry. It's frustrating me. It's not doing what I want it to do. Alright. Alright, fine. I'm gonna put a guy in iron. Fine, I'll just do that instead. And now I need 4. I don't have enough. I will do the upgrade for bronze. That's going to be the end of that aspect of my turn. I can play scientific method, and that's fine. Great, now I have 3 civil actions left. What's going to generate me more culture? What's gain is each of them produces an amount of culture equal to its level, however, each produces 1 less science. The question is, do I need more science or do I need more culture? Well, since I already have 2 people there and I'm already stronger than you, do you get what I'm saying? I think it's totally safe to go with game designer, but not necessarily bring him out until after I get tanks or something. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you see why I'm thinking of grabbing game designer with everything else? Because he's gonna ultimately get me 6 culture a turn. Yeah, because he's getting me 6 culture, but I'm only losing 2 science to do that. But here's the thing: but if you build one, not you don't even need cavalry. If you build one knight, gets you 4, and then you're tied with me. No, I do agree with that. It's just a matter of you have to decide what's like you can't. Right, it comes back to you can't do everything. You have to decide what matters most. Do you see what I'm saying? You have to think culture, and since that's the only thing that helps you with culture, you have to grab it. You know, if you don't grab it, I'm grabbing it. That's 100%. You know, I would be grabbing tanks. Like, to be honest, like my plan was, hopefully, if you didn't do that, to grab tanks. I don't know if now you're bogging your hand down with cards you're not intending to play, and you have to think about that aspect as well. Denying tanks makes a lot of sense, but you can't necessarily deny both. Especially look at your hand. Then it's 5 tech cards. Actually, can you even afford to have that? You can only have 6 in your hand. Oh, with the pyramids, you can have one more. You can have 7, but then you only have 2 that you can shuffle around. Like, you're playing denial. That's stupid. I'm not saying you don't want to deny it from me, but tanks is so much bigger part. Denying tanks is yes. Denying both tanks and modern infantry, that to me just seems ludicrous because you're clogging your hand. Well, if you're gonna get journalism into multimedia or something. And so, since I've now decided I am going to war with you, I want to be stronger. Do you get what I'm saying? Even more so. And there's only one way I can 100% do that. I need to build a dude, but I can't increase my population. I'm still short. Do you get what I'm saying? So now I have to sack this iron mine. And that gives me the free dude, right? So I can then get the double knights. And with patriotism, I don't even have to spend any of my money on it. And then I'm going to fix the one clog I have. You get what I'm saying? By getting that selective reading going. And now the question comes, what do I want? There's lots of good things for me. Do you get what I'm saying? Modern infantry is an obvious good thing. I'm making enough that I could also justify air forces. I mean, it is 5, but military theory is also very good for me, and it gives me more wars potential. And before +7 is 11, so I can't play it next turn. So I'm thinking modern infantry because it can directly get me 6 more. You get what I'm saying? But here's the thing, military theory gets me 5 more plus 3 military actions. Do you see what I'm saying? So now I have to debate what matters more, modern infantry or military theory. They're both good. Do I grab both? Oh, wait. I'll cancel this. Why is it still looking at that? Alright. So I'm gonna grab modern infantry. I'm gonna grab military theory to deny you it, and it's still good for me anyway. And then I am going to, I guess, be forced to pass le turn. So what did you think of my turn? How many points do you want to lose? Yeah, exactly. So basically, it's 1 yellow token for every 3 points of strength advantage from the defeated civilization. So you have to math it that way. Do you get what I'm saying? And then when you come up with something you have to do, then you do it. You get what I'm saying? And to remove it from the decision tree. You get what I'm saying? And pause. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This is where you had the Homer advantage in the beginning, but I guess I even wasn't pointing out to you. You needed to seed your irrigation more. Do you get what I'm saying? I didn't have that problem because I got the fertile territory. You did not get a fertile territory, so you eventually just ran out of making dude steam. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's what ended up causing you to be in this predicament. Am I making sense or am I not making sense? And that's why I've told you before, 3 pips in food is not necessarily horrible if you keep making and placing dudes. Do you see what I'm saying? I wouldn't necessarily say it's hopeless. I would say you wanna minimize what you're gonna lose. You get what I'm saying? If that means even temporarily losing an irrigation or something, because you gotta remember you're gonna be getting, I don't know, it's rough. You know what I mean? Like, I get your point about conceding. The problem is you don't have a good culture generation. Even if you get a journalism up, you know what I'm saying? You're having the ultimate problem there too, right? Because that still only gets you to 4. Making sense? So what ended up happening is, even though I was doing the tutorial, I overlooked something on your if you want to call it, thing, which is once the homer bonus went away, you did not respond to your irrigation fast enough. Do you get what I'm saying? Whereas I responded to my own by playing Columbus Fertile Territory. That's literally what created, in part, this main divergence. It wasn't like I was intentionally giving you bad advice or anything. Am I making sense or am I not making sense? Well, I mean, we can still finish this. It's almost over. And imagine if you had another tech clogging up your hand, by the way. Like, you're going to have to rebuild a lot. And by the way, did I even need modern infantry to do this to you? That's kind of my point about why the modern infantry issue was not really a thing. Am I making sense or am I not making sense? I agree. You can't you? I guess you can play Bountiful Harvest or Mineral Deposits just to. Oh shit. Yeah, then you can't do shit. Yep. And that's the problem of you deny me tanks, but because you weren't able to play your own hand, and that's why I imagine if you had mobile artillery, then you'd have even one less pick. You see what I'm saying? And now, I actually don't have another aggression. I'm just trying to see. Alright, I'll play that. Oh, okay. A strategic territory. How much... I mean, once I get this advantage, I'll blow you away even more. But you do have the banning bonus with Medieval Army. So I have to assume you're going to at least be able to do 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. 7 pretty easily. I have a colonization card, so it's going to cost me 5 strength in order to counter you. Can I rebuild this turn if I wanted to? Yes, I could. So I will attempt to force your hand by making it, what did I say, 7? 1, 2, yeah, so I'm going to make it 7. If you go above 7, I'm not going to get it, but if you do go 7, then I'm doing this. But the problem is if you go 7, then you're going to have to sack 2 dudes. You get what I'm saying? So this is, so the theory is you're probably gonna, in a perfect world, you would probably have to let me get this, that I'm a little weaker for a while, so you know another aggression might not come the next turn, but then you know the following turn I'll be even stronger still. So that's the trade-off. Do you get what I'm saying? If you do try and repel it, which you can do, then the problem is, how do you rebuild your dudes? I just stole a shitload of dudes from you, and you know I have the money now, especially because I just stole all that yellow, to just keep pumping out shit and just get bigger, badder, and beat you up more. You get what I'm saying? So, gotta balance. No. Winning the territory makes you weaker in the short term, which means it's more likely you're going to get bopped in the face, which will then hurt you in the long run. You get what I'm saying? Is not going to offset losing the... Wow, that would be horrible. Yep. And then, so I have to sacrifice 7. So I am going to sacrifice 1 knight, 1 swordsman, and my quote-unquote defense card. Oh my god, that wasn't enough? Wait, I thought that was enough. Okay, so I have to sacrifice 1 more knight. Now I have to discard 2 military cards. I choose these 2. But now you see the strength. You see how I can't beat you again next turn because of that. Do you see what I'm saying? However, you know what will probably be coming soon because I can do stuff. So, first, I'm going to prepare for this maneuver by doing that. Alright, now I'm going to cancel that decision. I'm going to increase my population. I'm going to increase my population again. And then I'm going to build at least 1 more swordsman because of not wanting to be much weaker than you. Now I have 3 civil actions. Is there something here I need to grab? Alright, Hollywood doesn't help me at all. Fast food. For every worker in a military unit or building, 2 for every worker on a farm or a mine. Holy shit, fast food chain is pretty good. But how will I ever get that done before the end of the game? Engineering Genius can help me do Hollywood, but 11, I'm only getting 6 a turn. The fact that I never... The fact that I... maybe I build this extra dude here. Oh, I don't have enough resources to go directly into that. Alright, so I'm... What? Not enough resources? How can I not build a dude in the smaller one? That doesn't make sense. Alright, so cancel. Alright, so I'm gonna build a dude there. Alright, now I can grab fast food chain, right? And that's the end of my turn. Oh, I need 3 civil actions. Shit, now I only have 2 civil actions. Fuck. That sucks. 2 civil actions, alright. I do alright. Military build up. I might want to develop side efficient. Okay, I'm gonna grab engineering genius because I'll probably. If you grab fast food chain, I guess I'll grab Hollywood, even though it does nothing for me though. I have no theaters or libraries, so fast food chain is actually good. But there'll probably be one more tech, but there's no guarantee. Maybe I just grab endowment for the arts to offset the fact that you might get fast food chain. I guess so. There's no reason why I can't. And then 2, 3, 4, 5. And then my code of laws, I can grab another thing. So I guess I do grab engineering genius. And then I have military actions, but I don't have enough, so I pass the turn. Yep. And now you see that's the grand problem of me having Eiffel Tower and getting 4 on you through all of age 2. I don't know. And it's way cheaper too, because it's 3 and 3 instead of 3, 7, 3. Okay, so now the question becomes, what do I want to grab? I'm trying not to laugh because you can see how bad this is going without me making much more comments on it. But now the question is, what do I want to grab? My 2 civil actions. I should still do useful things. I have 3 food. I mean, I guess I can play, what the hell you call it? I guess, I mean, 2 civil actions, there's not much, to be honest. that I need. And Hollywood is not good for me because I have nothing that I get for it. It's just a wonder bonus, you know? Mm. I mean, I just don't know what I do here other than maybe grab computers, but I mean, I'm never gonna play it. So I guess it comes down to what do I want to grab from you? You don't have enough mineral to really make use of movies. I mean, you know what? I guess I grab military build up because I might use it, and then I pass the turn. Oh, cool, space flight. That's the ticket. Well, 7 is still higher than 2, though. What, 2, 4, 6, it's only 1 higher, but it's still 1 higher. But that's why I chose to not play anything next turn, to play military theory this turn to be stronger. You get what I'm saying? Plus, with you letting me get strategic territory, that's 7 more military strength without costing me any more dudes. Did you see how I planned that in advance, basically? You have Isaac Newton, and you have journalism. Whatever. The point is, you can look back and see we have this on videotape. We'll eventually send it to you, and you'll be able to see and think about what you could have done differently. And I was generally helping you most way. Believe me, it wasn't me trying to intentionally mess you up or anything. Like, I really the only decision I really kind of talked you out of was the Napoleon thing, but I didn't need Napoleon to, like, beat you. It wasn't like, but once you let me get Napoleon, then I went Napoleon. But if you got Napoleon, I would have still been able to repel you because I had conquistadors and you didn't have a strong tactics. You get what I'm saying? So, I'm done. And now you did that, I can respond in kind. You've just opened me up for strategy galore. Get ready for the switch. Are you ready for the switch? Alright. So now... I have one civil action. Can I finish this next turn? That's the question. I have engineering genius, which enables me to pay 5 less. So it's 4, 8. I'm generating enough food, so I can do it if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So I can finish this on my last turn. Does 2 resources affect me for this last turn? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope, I can still finish it next turn. It is true. It is true. You're. I just want to point out, I only have 1 tech card in my hand. You have like 5 tech cards in your hand. Just saying, that's another problem. You over. I'll let you choose. Do you want me to kill Team Sports instead? Alright. It's always a question of what do I do next? I don't know. I always play my best. You get what I'm saying? It's a matter of, I guess, because I have all this mineral. This makes sense. I can't attack you again. The game is over, but I just want to avoid going into corruption, so I'm trying to actually spend my military, my minerals somehow. Does that make sense? I mean, I think I got this even without doing much, but you get my point. Like, what else could I have done without putting those guys in military? I guess I could have put a couple in theology to get one or two more culture, but I mean, I'm generating 9 a turn, you're generating 2 a turn, so I don't think I had to do that. But, I don't get another turn, but this keeps me not from having corruption. In the entire game, I only had corruption once, you know? You can undo your turn, undo your turn. No, you could undo it. I want to see what it would look like. Remember, this is for the video. This is important stuff. You got to analyze it. So, what are your just quick thoughts as we wrap up? Mm-hmm. Oh, I do agree. I think you made one oversight. You got addicted to the cheap guys from Homer, and then you didn't, or Moses or whatever, and you didn't respond fast enough, and then you eventually ran out of cheap dudes, and you just kind of got bogged down. Am I making sense or am I not making sense? And like I saw my dude problem with Fertile Territory Columbus. Like I had a strategy for that. So here's the final situation in the game. Of course, the cards are messed up. Love that. Good job, website. Can I... Oh, okay. If I press F11, I'm bringing the thing back. If I press F11 again. Alright, so here we go. So this is the final standings of the game. I think the two big issues was not getting bogged down because of the irrigation not building dude aspect, but that wasn't something that necessarily was the easiest to stop, but simultaneously also losing to Eiffel Tower. And I was able to play the denial game against culture. I did mention culture a couple of times to you, so it wasn't like I didn't tell you that you needed culture. You get what I'm saying? So I don't feel like I was just like leading you the wrong way or anything. It's just that sadly you did not respond in a way to stop it, right? Like it's not like you didn't see the Eiffel Tower coming, right? And like I was generating like a bunch of turn that you didn't even start really generating a lot of culture until you brought out multimedia, and you didn't bring it out until like 2 turns ago. I had like, even before the wars and stuff, I had like a 30-point lead on you. Do you agree or disagree? Now I press F9.